Okay, here we go. This morning we're going to start something sort of kind of new. It's something you've seen before, but we're going to add a new twist to it, and I want to remind you and your parents what we're doing and why we're doing it. Again, we're going to solve one-step and multi-step word problems. We haven't gotten to that point yet because we have to learn this part first before we can get that. But it's going to have addition and subtraction. Today we're starting the subtraction part. Within 100, using a variety of strategies. That's why we're doing these, because we have to know how to do it more than one way. And so we're going to use a variety. A variety means more than one way. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do some double-digit subtraction using the open number line. Some of this stuff is going to be familiar to you, which is a good thing. You can transfer what you already know. Some of it's going to be new. You're going to have to listen very carefully. Let's see. Let's look where we're going to start. We're going to start today with this problem. 62 minus 25. Here's your first new thing. I'm going to model this one for you. That's why I've asked you not to mess with your iPad. Do not mess with your iPad. I'm modeling the first one just like I always do. So here we go. 62 minus 25. We are mathematicians. So we must use math language. When we were adding, we knew that each one of these numbers were called add-ins. They're not going to be called add-ins in a subtraction problem. And they're not both going to have the same name. So listen very carefully. Here's the first math language that is going to be different. When you see a subtraction problem, we know this first number is going to be called a minuend. It's called a minuend. If you will look at our vocabulary card, I took it out and brought it closer. A minuend is a number from which another number will be subtracted. So it's the number that another number is going to be subtracted from. It's called a minuend. Say minuend. Minuend. Again, minuend. Tell it to your left hand. Minuend. Tell it to your right hand. Minuend. There you go. That first number is called a minuend. Our second number is called a subtrahend. It's called a subtrahend. Let's look at the definition for a subtrahend. A subtrahend's the number to be subtracted from a minuend. So we're going to take this number and we're going to subtract it from the minuend. That's called the subtrahend. Now I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you something. I had trouble remembering which was which when I first started using this language. I was like, I can't ever remember which is a minuend, which is a subtrahend. I don't know why I couldn't get that. I want to show you the little trick I use, and I still use it sometimes. Minuend starts with an M, subtrahend starts with an S. In the alphabet, in alphabetical order, M comes before S. That's just how I remember it. Minuend, subtrahend. That's how I remember it. Last year, I had a student tell me, I always know that I know which one's which because subtrahend is the one that's going to be subtracted. Subtrahend is the one going to be subtracted. So that might be another trick to help you remember which one's the minuend. And Miss Thompson misspelled minuend. Let me fix it. Minuend and subtrahend. Minuend, subtrahend. So here we go. We're going to start with 62 on our open number line. Now, we know that on this number line, if the further we go up, the numbers are going to get larger. If we go down, the numbers are going to get smaller. If I'm subtracting, my number has to get smaller. When we did open number line with addition, we had to start over here so that we were getting larger when we hopped. But now we're going to have to start over here with our tick mark. Our tick mark, or the mark on the number line, there's that math language again, tick mark. Our tick mark must begin on this end because to subtract our number must get smaller. So we must start here, and I'm going to start with that minuend 62. Minuend, so that's a little different. The minuend starts on this end of the number line. Now I'm ready to go to my subtrahend. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with that second add-in. I'm going to decompose. Turn and talk to your partner and tell them what decompose is. All set?
You bet.
Somebody raise their hand and tell me, what does it mean if we're going to decompose? What does it mean?
Break it apart.
Absolutely. We're going to break it into parts. How many parts does 25 have, everybody?
2 and 5 1.
Absolutely. It has 2 10s and 5 1s. So I'm going to begin with my 2 10s. There's more math language. I hear 10s. I hear 1s. I hear the word decompose. There's all that math language going on. I should hear you when you're doing these. Parents, you should hear your child using these words at home tonight when they're on homework. You should be making sure they're using these words. Okay, here we go. So we're at 62. You told me we had 2 10s. This time I'm going to hop back 2 10s. Instead of saying plus 10, it's going to say minus 10. Minus 10. Remember, when I'm subtracting tens, the only number that's going to change is the number in the tens place. Woo! You guys are smart. Absolutely. The number in the tens place is the only number that's going to change. Which number's in the tens place in 62? Absolutely. So if I have 62 and I subtract 10, then I'm going to have
52.
And if I subtract 10 again, I'm going to
42.
Noticing that the only number that changed was the number
in the tens
There
place.
you go. You guys are awesome. The number in the tens place. So there's my 2 10s. Now I'm ready to subtract those 5 1s. I'm going to do those using tick marks. There are my 5 tick marks. I'm going to start exactly where my last hop was to the end and put a minus 5. Now I know that I was counting by tens, subtracting by tens. Now I'm going to subtract by ones. I've got to start counting backwards by ones. Going back, I'm subtracting. 42. 1 less than 42.
41.
Very good. 1 less is
40.
and then
39.
and then
38.
and then
37.
absolutely.
That's right.
So that is my answer. Now let's talk a minute. Let's use math language. Let's use math language. We don't call it the answer. Turn and talk to your partner and see if you remember. What do we call the answer when we subtract? Turn and talk. Ready to rock?
Ready to roll.
Everybody tell me, what do we call it? Absolutely. We call it the difference. The answer when you subtract is called the difference. So I can say the difference between 62 and 25 is 37. So look at all that math language I need you to be using. Minuend, subtrahend, difference, tens, ones, decompose, tick mark. Pretty much the same as it was. Parents, tonight, please watch the video with your child before they start this homework. And then they've only got 2 problems. It shouldn't take them very long. But please watch the video with them before they start it and do those 2 with them and listen for that math language and intervene if you need to. Thank you.